You tell me, what's the benefit to how we live right now? Most of y'all gonna die owning nothing, but most of us are gonna die owning nothing. We're gonna spend our entire lives working for no end. I mean, if you can't even own something at a reasonable age before you die, what's the whole point of this? What's the point of it? We're not gonna have none. A lot of y'all can't even get married because of the stress levels and the conflicts between men and women, or because of all these crazy ideologies pumped into men on one side and women on the other side. So you're traveling through life alone. You're never gonna own nothing. You're gonna die broke and lonely. Most of you don't even have no kids. Tell me, what's the point of the way we live? What's the point? Everything I'm about to say, you already know it to be true. You are a slave. You are a slave to money, to social economics, to status, to politics, to ideology. You have sold your soul to have a place in a world order that you should naturally oppose. Human beings have a flaw, a design flaw. I'm not saying it's our natural flaw. I'm saying it's something that we learn from this wicked system. Whereas we tend to abuse the things that love us the most. You know, anything that we have total control over, we have no respect for it. You know what I'm saying? You see this with people, what they do with their pets. They treat pets badly. They handle pets, you know, especially these men with their dogs, man. They treat dogs, I mean, oh gosh, it's horrible to see. You know, you see somebody riding a bike, pulling a little bitty dog on the side of the dog, gotta run, and this fool on the bike pulling the poor little dog. Like, he don't understand the dog has a heart. It has lungs. It has organs. The dog cannot run forever. You're gonna kill the dog. That is abuse. And we don't think nothing of it, man, because a conquered thing has no value. There is nothing that creates more respect than the knowledge that I don't need to be here. That is the only thing that creates respect. Now, I'm not going to talk about relationships. I'm leading in with this. This is just kind of what I do, right? I'm leading in with this because this is about manhood over here on the Black Alpha, and this is about this channel. And one of the things I got to get y'all to understand is that as long as we are trapped in this system, there will be no justice for us. You can cry all you want about the injustices that you face in this system, but where you gonna go? You don't have an alternative. You don't have an option. You are locked into this, and this is why they did this the way they did. Over the decades leading up to the 2000s, right? 2000s, everything changed. Leading up to the 2000s, they constantly was baiting everybody into the system. This is why they really wanted to get this segregation stuff and get all the integration in, you know what I'm saying? Get black people to buy into the system, start offering college to black people. You got all these Negroes now that then took Africana studies and all this stuff, and now they are all leaders of the so-called black community, brainwashing us, telling us to go down the wrong path. We bought into the system, right? And our so-called black leaders pushed us deeper and deeper and deeper into the system. Now, everybody is heavily invested in the system without any form of alternative. They don't have anything else they can do. Over the decades, they've been able to change the laws, the legal structure. Now, you're not even autonomous on your own land. You can have land, and you probably, you know, in most states, you can't hunt on your own land. They can tell you what to grow on your land. They can tell you that you got to put cows or something that you don't want on your land. You know what I mean? They got all kinds of stuff that they can do to us on our land and threaten to take our land away from us. Or they just come with eminent domain. Or they let some mega conglomerate, you know what I'm saying, some mega corporation own farmland up the way, miles away from your field, and they plant a whole bunch of GMO seeds and your stuff, and when the pollen blows over onto your field, now they legally can claim that they own your land, that they own the crops that grow on your land. I mean, it's crazy, bro. I mean, and you could complain about it all you want, but you don't have an option. What are you gonna do? Where are you gonna go? What changes can you make? You can't do nothing. You can't do nothing. I was watching a movie, right? To Catch a Killer. And at the end of the movie, the lady asked the dude, well, you got the skills to live off grid. Why don't you just go somewhere and disappear? He said, everywhere you go is owned by somebody. He said the whole planet is a prison. This is what he said. The line in the movie, the whole planet is a prison. Everywhere you go is owned by somebody. They're checking on you. You got to have IDs. You got to have money. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a right to just live outside of the system, which is the problem I have with the system. I don't have a beef with the system. The beef I have is, what are our alternatives? Suppose we don't want to play this game. Suppose we don't want to live within this way of life. Suppose we want to just go out there like every other animal in nature and just live. But now they didn't tweak this so that almost every square inch of the earth is owned by somebody. It's basically private property. So where you gonna go live? See, there's a lot wrong with this world that we live in, bro. And y'all sitting around finding all kinds of reasons to fight with each other. Y'all find all kinds of reasons to sit here and listen to gossip all day on YouTube and social media. Y'all worrying about celebrities. Y'all worrying about entertainers. Y'all worrying about actors and all this crazy stuff. I mean, when are y'all gonna wake up and look around and see that we are living in hell? What is it gonna take? And this is why I'm calling on the men. This is why I've been trying to structure y'all, the men, structure y'all in a way mentally where I turn y'all back to alpha. Because once you become a man, you don't want no parts of this madness. You're trying to figure out a way to live freely because the instincts of a man is to be free. But right now we are conquered. Isn't the whole symbolism behind so-called chattel slavery? The whole symbolism behind this is to try to teach you that if you're totally controlled and owned by another person, they will abuse you. I mean, it's what we do, and it's unfortunate that we like that, man. But if you are conquered, if you are completely subjugated to another human being, that human being is going to abuse you, man. And it's just, it is what it is. You see that in relationships. This is one of the reasons why the white woman, through her feminist movement, was able to get women on board so much with working. It wasn't so much that they wanted to work just so they can, I don't know, rebel against men. The real talking point was men and abuse. If a man know that you are 100% dependent on him and only him for your survival, that man abuses you. That man will dog you out. And it's unfortunate, but the women will do the same. Now, I'm not saying every single man or every single woman. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that for too many of us, this is how we are. Any man that has ever depended 100% on a woman will tell you, man, women could be very, very abusive when they got power. And not just abusive, but very cold. You know what I'm saying? The person that you are subjugated to, man, you'll see a very, very cold side to them, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's no warmth whatsoever, because to most people, a conquered thing has no value. And right now, we are conquered within this system. We have no value. So, I mean, you could complain about injustices. You could complain about rent increases and mortgage increases and interest rates. You can complain about, how much we work. You can complain about inflation, which is nothing but an algorithm. It's not even a real thing. You can complain, you can complain, you can complain, but you have no options. And this is why I say in my introduction that you have bought into a system that you should naturally oppose. That's what that's about. You have bought into a way of life that you should naturally oppose, because the God in you should oppose this stuff. The man in you should oppose the way we live. The alpha in you should oppose the way you live. You got no options, bro. And because you got no options, they're not going to ever respect us. They're not going to respect us. They're not going to respect us until we have the ability to walk away and live. And they have been constantly shutting down every avenue of escape, every avenue of exit. They've been shutting it down through the legal system, through other means, buying up everything. You know what I'm saying? We got to push back on all that, man. We got to legally make them stop allowing people to own more land than they can live on. You should not be able to own millions of acres just because you got the money. You can't buy the earth just because you got the money to do so. We got to stop this stuff, man. This is madness, man. We are allowing the rich to own us. We allowing, not the rich, the wealthy. We are allowing the wealthy to own us. And they're owning us through policies and laws made by government that we vote for. The same people that y'all sit around here fighting each other for, both parties are allowing this stuff to happen. Because capitalism, you know, is one of the things that both parties have in common. That's one of the interests that they share. They are not anti-capitalist in any way. Don't let these Democrats fool you with all this, you know, socialist type talk. They are not socialists at all. At all. I mean, even people like Bernie Sanders, to what degree is he socialist? You think he's going to push back on the capitalistic system? You think he's going to push back on all this stuff? You know, you got Richard Wolff over there with the economic report, always talking about socialism and anti-capitalism. But yet, at the same breath, he still talk about businesses and jobs and all this stuff. These things are the problem. Nothing is going to change till we have an option where we choose to live this lifestyle or choose to go elsewhere. And if more people start choosing to go elsewhere, they're going to have to change the mechanisms of the system to cater to people. They're going to have to make being in the system worth it. Right now, what's the benefit of living the way we live? I'm going to leave you with that. You tell me what's the benefit to how we live right now. Most of y'all going to die owning nothing. But most of us are going to die owning nothing. We're going to spend our entire lives working for no end. I mean, if you can't even own something at a reasonable age before you die, what's the whole point of this? What's the point of it? We're not going to have none. A lot of y'all can't even get married because of the stress levels and the conflicts between men and women, or because of all these crazy ideologies pumped into men on one side and women on the other side. So you're traveling through life alone. You're never going to own nothing. You're going to die broke and lonely. Most of you don't have no kids. Tell me, what's the point of the way we live? What's the point? You got all these clowns on these YouTube channels talking about this solitary life and being a loner and all this stuff. We are social creatures. We're not intended to be loners, bro. These dudes are loners because they have no choice but to be loners. Because if they were really happy in the way they live, they wouldn't even be on YouTube. See, I'm not happy with the way we live. I don't have a problem with my personal circle. My inner circle is fine. You know, my personal relationship with my wife is fine. It's perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's a great relationship. But that's not the totality of life. That's just here. How we live is a problem. Whether you're a loner or whether you married, whether you got, you know, whether you run with a pack, it don't matter. We still live in this system. And this system is a problem. Because within this system, we have no respect. We have been totally conquered. We have been reduced to subjects of a higher power. And because we are totally 100% dependent on that higher power, it has no respect for us. Zero. They make all kinds of political promises that they don't keep. They allow businesses to dog us out more and more and more every passing generation. I mean, come on, man. How are we going to vote for people and they own us? What's the point of voting? If after you vote them in, they don't have to even care about you no more. They go around begging for your vote, and after you elect them, it's business as usual. They do what they want to do. I talk about this. We need to get back to making these municipalities have to take a popular vote on every law they pass within your city. Like it was when I was growing up. When I was growing up, they couldn't pass a law in the city, the city council. They just couldn't pass a city ordinance. They had to have that stuff voted on. Now they could just do what they want to do. The same thing with the state. The state government couldn't just pass the state law. That state law had to be voted on. Now they just do what they want to do. You got laws in the books that you never even heard of. Because they don't have to respond to us no more. They don't care about us. We are only good for our vote, and after we vote, that's it. And that's why they keep us fighting each other. And y'all like fools, y'all do it. Y'all so busy fighting each other that y'all not paying attention to the laws that they're making. Y'all not paying attention that nothing is changing, that everything is getting worse. It doesn't matter who's in the office. It doesn't matter who's in the state house, who's in Congress, who's in the White House, or who's in the city council, or who's in the mayor's office or the governor's office. It don't matter. Things are getting progressively worse every generation. Because they don't care about us. To them, you voting them in is giving them permission to rule over you. That's how they look at it. Not represent your wishes, to rule over you. That's how they look at it. And y'all go with it. Y'all go with it. I'm going to stop rambling. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Until next time, I'm out here, Brother Kush, a.k.a. the Black Out. So long.